The cases you hear about are distressing. The abusers of etomidate, they lose control of themselves. They put themselves in dangerous positions. They become vulnerable. They become zombies. The Ministry of Health has explained how etomidate can be very harmful when taken through waves. Many of the abusers are young people, and they have bright futures ahead of them, and they risk throwing it away, affecting their futures by abusing etomidate. MOH has been handling this. They are studying the situation. They are deciding on what actions to take. And I have asked Ministry of Home Affairs to support MOH and help them. And in the interim, MHA is going to list etomidate as a Class C drug under the Misuse of Drugs Act, MDA. This, as I said, is an interim measure. Meanwhile, MOH is looking at what new legislation is possible to deal with etomidate and other similar substances. Now, what does listing etomidate under the MDA in the interim will allow? It will allow tougher enforcement measures. Abusers will no longer just be subject to a fine. They can be subject to mandatory supervision and rehab regimes. And those who import, sell, distribute etomidate-laced vapes can expect much stiffer penalties than today. MOH, Ministry of Health, has also asked my ministry, MHA, to second officers to HSA, the Health Sciences Authority, to assist with the supervision, treatment, and rehab of etomidate abusers. We will do so. You have seen the number of stories in the media over the past few weeks on the harms from etomidate. For example, there was a story, Sunday Times, last week. A mother was talking about her son's addiction to K-pots. K-pots are vapes with etomidate. She says he walks like a zombie. He has no control over his body. She feels helpless and feels there's no way for her to help her son. Now, this is the damage that vapes laced with etomidate have done within just a short period. This is not just one story, there are many such instances. So imagine, just look at it, what harder drugs can do. And you don't have to imagine, you just have to look at many first world cities for the consequences. For drugs, the consequences, if we take a light approach, will be multiplied several fold compared with what you're seeing with etomidate. So imagine if we took an approach similar to other countries on drugs, what would our streets look like? What would happen to our children? Ambassadors, ministers from other countries, activist groups, others financed by pharmaceutical companies which stand to make money by monetizing the misery of drug addicts. They all come to Singapore or they see me elsewhere. They tell me our laws are harsh. We should, allow cannabis to be sold freely. We should legalize drugs. We shouldn't be having the death penalty. And our approach is wrong. First question, you look at their streets and you look at our streets. Where would you rather live? Second, you look at the number of deaths they have from drugs and the abusers and the crime, and you look at our situation. So do we put this ideology first or do we put the facts first? Whose streets are safer? Where do parents feel that they can bring up their children in safety? So I tell them, look, you look after yourselves, we look after Singaporeans, and Singaporeans support our policies. And as long as Singaporeans support our policies and we believe this is the right thing to do, we will continue to take a tough line. And that tough line saves more lives, keeps our streets free of drugs, and parents can bring up their children with peace of mind. The activists romanticize the drug traffickers. They have parents, they have sisters. This is how their life can be imagined. For they were good children. What about the many more young people who will die, the many more crimes that will be committed, many more people's lives which would be damaged beyond repair if we took a softer line? That is why Singaporeans support the tough line we take on drugs. including the death penalty for traffickers, to keep Singaporeans safe. And my answer to everyone is, we do what we honestly believe to be in Singaporeans' interest, and we will continue doing it as long as Singaporeans support.